Hello, I'm Mr. Reese, and this is my friend Munty, and this is Mr. Reese in the hospital. What's that, Munty? My arms look cold. Why, yes, my arms are cold. They've been completely shaved, along with the rest of my body. Even down there. We can't have any hair on this boy. What's that, Munty? You don't want them to shave you? You would look silly. I think you're right. I do look a bit silly. But it's okay. It doesn't hurt. Tonight, we're going to be reading a story called Caps for Sale by Esther Slobodkina. Once, there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had his own checked cap, and then a bunch of grey caps, then a bunch of brown caps, a bunch of blue caps, and then on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. And as he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." And one morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he. And he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. It's a nice place for a rest, thought he. And he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk, so as not to disturb the caps on his head. And he put his hand up to feel if they were straight. First, his own checked cap, then the grey caps, and the brown caps, and the blue caps, and the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep, and he slept for a long time. A bit like us tomorrow. But when he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. And all he felt was his own checkered cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked at back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. And he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? Yes, I know you think it's exciting, just wait. On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a grey or brown or blue or red cap. The peddler looked up at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do, so finally he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking his finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Yes, they were rude monkeys. This made the peddler angry, so he shook both his hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook both their hands back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Well, now he felt quite angry, and he stamped his foot, and he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." By this time, the peddler was really, really very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and he threw it on the ground and began to walk away. But then, each monkey pulled off his cap, and all the grey caps, and all the brown caps, and the blue caps, and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. And so the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First, his own checked cap, then the grey caps, and the brown caps, and the blue caps, and the red caps on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he called back to town, walking and calling, "Caps, caps for sale. 50 cents a cap. The end.